shares a great deal in the outreach and the ministry of the United Nations and their particular emphasis. And tonight, it is my very great pleasure, a personal pleasure, to welcome our distinguished guest and his dear wife, Mimi. Ladies and gentlemen, when we considered this great meeting, our President, Dr. Paulson, made a special appeal to His Excellency Kofi Annan, the Secretary General of the United Nations, suggesting that perhaps he would like to come to this assembly, greet the people, and encourage them in the work which they are doing worldwide. He seriously considered it, but realizing that we're living in very tenuous times, and when there are some extreme tensions in our world today, not being sure whether he could be here, even if he promised to be here, he deferred and indicated that he would like to send a message, and then he selected one of his trusted associates. I would like to tell you more about the one who is the messenger tonight. I would like to explain to you some of his background and some of his accomplishments and activities, but as he and I have talked about it a bit, he wants the emphasis, and properly so, to be on the Secretary General. Many of you may know that the Secretary General is a Ghanaian, and we have a good many of them here tonight. His wife is Swedish. And our distinguished guest felt it would be better for the spotlight to be on him and the United Nations rather than on himself. So I had to dismiss all of that, but there's one thing no one can control me from saying. I am honored and proud tonight because it's my privilege to introduce to you a very dear, special friend, His Excellency, the Undersecretary of General for the United Nations, Joseph Reed. Please, my brothers and sisters, welcome him in the proper way.
President Paulson, Elder Falkenberg, Elder Wilson, Secretary Bediako, Treasurer Rawson, Governor General Sir Silas Atopare of Papua New Guinea, Excellencies, religious observers, delegates, distinguished friends. Congratulations to the elected leaders. Good wishes, Godspeed. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est un honneur d'être ici dans le grand et noble pays Canada et dans la belle ville Toronto. Merci, Dr. Wilson et grand ami, pour l'invitation pour les Nations Unies de participer dans cette grande session. Delegates, on behalf of the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Kofi Annan, I welcome this opportunity to greet all of you assembled here in the great city of Toronto for the General Conference session of the Seventh-day Adventists. I salute all in the planning and organizing committees who brought this milestone gathering, the quinquennial World Session, together. A great accomplishment, a great feat. President Paulson, I feel proud and privileged to be here with you. In our changing and interdependent world, the Seventh-day Adventists provide a beacon of conscious humanism and spiritual leadership. Delegates, our special thanks to your presidents, Dr. Paulson, Dr. Falkenberg, and Elder Wilson, and all your leadership for all you have done over the years to keep that beacon shining bright. Delegates, allow me to use this occasion in a personal capacity as Undersecretary General of the United Nations to appeal to you, representatives of the Seventh-day Adventists from around the world, to continue to give the United Nations the support we need for our world organization. I make this appeal because the United Nations is also your organization, our world organization, your United Nations. Without the global efforts of the United Nations, all of our efforts for peace, development, equality, and justice would be to no avail. Delegates, please remember, the United Nations is the only machinery we have for collective cooperation among all nations. It is the only worldwide institution for furthering development. The United Nations is the only universal mechanism for protecting human rights. The United Nations is the only shared framework for strengthening international law. Delegates, the United Nations is not one of the luxuries of international life. The work of the United Nations is of vital importance for the betterment of life on our planet. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your support and understanding. As Dr. Wilson has said, the Secretary General himself would have liked to have been here with you in Toronto. This distinguished Chief Executive of the Parliament of Mankind is presently on a mission of peace in the Middle East and then moves on to Africa. Knowing of my admiration and respect for the work of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Secretary General asked me to represent him at this General Conference session. It is an honor to bring to you a message from the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Kofi Annan. Delegates, it gives me great pleasure to extend my warm greetings to all who have gathered on this spiritual occasion. You may think that the United Nations, an intergovernmental organization, has no room for religion. You may be trying to imagine how spirituality can coexist with the world of diplomacy, national security, and hard-edged negotiation. I would ask you to think differently. I would ask you to take another look. The United Nations is a tapestry, not only of suits and saris, but also of clerics' collars, nuns' habits, and lamas' robes. Religions may manifest themselves in widely different practices and belief systems. The United Nations may display the outward signs of secular pursuits, but at the heart we are dealing in universal values. That is what the United Nations is good at: to be kind, tolerant, just, or merciful. No single religion can claim a monopoly on such teachings. In August, religious leaders from across the globe will gather at the United Nations headquarters as we prepare for the Millennium Summit in September, which will consider the role of the United Nations in the 21st century. As men and women of faith, you are natural partners of the United Nations in our endeavor to transcend national and ethnic divisions and promote tolerance and understanding. Our shared vision of humanity, one of that supersedes artificial constructs, is essential if we are to cope with the complexities of the age of globalization. Such a vision can foster dialogue where divisions persist, understanding where suspicions prevail, and cooperation where discord has impeded progress for too long. This philosophy lies in the heart of the United Nations Charter and must be prominent in all our thinking as we pursue our goals of enduring peace and development for all the world's people in the years ahead. On behalf of the United Nations, I, Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, wish you a most successful meeting. President Paulson, leaders, thank you for inviting the Secretary General to send this important message to this distinguished convocation. Again, may I say how honored I am to be with you. I wish you great success in your General Conference session. It would give me an honor, President Paulson, if I may personally deliver the original text of the Secretary General's message to you, sir. Thank you very much, President Paulson.
Ambassador Reid, may I thank you, and through you, the leader of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, for conveying this message to us. We accept it as though he were present with us. And please convey our best regards to him and assure him that as a community, as a church, we pray for his success and for the success of the United Nations as an instrument of God's peace in this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Again, Ambassador Reid, we thank you so much for bringing us this message from the Secretary General of the main organization in the world working for collective world inter-cooperation, justice, and peace. And we thank you for his gracious words, and we appreciate also your own gracious words of greeting to us and coming and spending your time with us here in Toronto. But before you depart from the platform, we have a little gift we would like to give you so that you will not forget that you were with us.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Thank you. That's wonderful. Give that to the Secretary General.